Outside may have you believe it's almost time for the start of spring sports. Our teams across the valley have taken their practices inside as they wait for their fields to clear off, including the four-time reigning and defending state softball champion, Central Cass Squirrels. This isn't anything necessarily new for any of our local teams. The start of the year usually faces a bit of a weather delay due to that weather, but the recent conditions we've been dealing with make it a little bit harder to see the light at the end of that cold tunnel. The Squirrels are spending this time perfecting the aspects of the game that they're able to indoors. This includes running, hitting, and pitching drills. While this does cover a wide range of their game, they still miss being able to practice on their own turf.
I've done it long enough right now where I have a couple of weeks of good content, things that we can work on indoors. You know, the basics, the fundamentals. We can work on what our team defense needs to look like. We can work on hitting. So we can get some good work done. But we're really anxious to get outside because that's where you really have an opportunity to see where you're at.
I think every year when we start in the gym, all of us, it's kind of hard to just see that there's still snow on the field and out on the sidewalks. This year especially it's hard because we know that it's going to be a while until we get on the field.
This is when we're supposed to see the first games for our spring sports, and that's going to require a lot of cooperation from that weather. We'll see when our teams are actually able to get started here in the coming weeks. The North Dakota women's basketball team received some comforting news this afternoon. Senior guard Casey Borovich announced that she'll be using her extra year of eligibility on Twitter this afternoon and will return to Grand Forks for a fifth season. Borovich was the Summit League's leading scorer last season, averaging just over 21 points per game. Her 674 total points last season were over 300 more than any other player on the Fighting Hawks roster. This helped lead UND to a 19-13 record and 11-7 league mark, something they'll look to improve on even more with this key piece coming back. And after winning their first Summit League series of the season, the Bison baseball team stayed down south for one game against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. The Huskers taking this non-conference battle 4-1. The Bison got their only run of the day in the first inning and held that lead all the way to the bottom of the fifth. Now it's back to our regularly scheduled programming for NDSU. They'll play the South Dakota State Jackrabbits in a Summit League doubleheader on Friday. Now I say regularly scheduled. Take that with a grain of salt because they had to move that series to Iowa. To make up for conditions down there.
It's nice thinking about baseball, at least, when you look at the weather outside.
Had to escape to Nebraska for it.
and more snow, of course, in our